What's up, Michigan fans? Welcome back to the Maize and Bluebeard podcast, where we talk all things Michigan football and basketball. Thanks for being here. We got a packed show once again. Of course, I'm going to finish up my breakdown of the 2026 recruiting class. In the last video, we looked at all the 4 and 5 stars. Check that out if you didn't yet. Today, we're going to focus on the 3 stars. A lot of times at big schools like Michigan, we don't pay as much attention to the 3-star names. So I'm going to break them down and we're going to see, do we have some 3-star studs or duds? We'll talk about it and we'll see. Also, we got to talk a little bit about what happened in the Super Bowl and what happened on the hard court between Michigan and Ohio State. I'll have some recruiting news for future recruiting classes, as well as a look at the results to yesterday's question of the day. All that and more on this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Let's get to it. Let's start off by congratulating the Seattle Seahawks on winning Super Bowl 60 over the New England Patriots 29-13. Head coach Mike Macdonald got a Super Bowl win in only his second year of being a head coach. We all remember what a stud he was on the defensive side, and he did a great job with the Ravens, and now he's done an amazing job with the Seahawks. This team is just built so well. They don't make mistakes at the quarterback position. They have athletes on the outside that can make a catch and make plays when they need to. They've got an amazing stable of running backs, a great offensive line, and then the defense is just unrelenting and smothering. They play their roles well. They keep everything in front of them. It's hard to get big plays on them. And he is just a fantastic coach. Of course, he's not the only Michigan connection on there. You have special teams coordinator Jay Harbaugh all on there, and also linebacker coach Chris Partridge is on there. Congratulations to all of them. And also player-wise, Michigan tight end A.J. Barner has been a beast this year. He was great at Michigan, but he was always second fiddle to Colston Lovelow, and he got to show what he can do this year. And in the Super Bowl, on the brightest stage, 4 catches on 4 targets for 54 yards and a touchdown that kind of broke that game open for Seattle and really made it more comfortable for them after having to settle for field goals over and over again. So pretty fun Super Bowl, great one. But just congratulations to Mike Macdonald, A.J. Barner, and the whole crew. Pretty awesome stuff. And all I got to say is Super Bowl champion coach beat an Ohio State alumni as coach on the other side. Just saying. But Super Bowl winning coach, former Michigan coordinator, brand new coach of the Ravens, former Michigan coordinator, finding success in Los Angeles for the Chargers, former Michigan head coach. Was it the signs? Come on now, let's move on. On the hard court on Sunday, Michigan Wolverines basketball team defeated Ohio State 82-61. Another fantastic win for them. They swept the season series with Ohio State. And Michigan moves to 22-1 overall and 12-1 in the Big Ten. And after Illinois' defeat to Michigan State on Saturday, Michigan is all alone, first place in the Big Ten. It was a great win. They started off with the shots not falling. Ohio State's were. But they just locked in, played gritty defense. They played together. They shared the ball. They kept at it. They never lost their swagger or confidence. And that small lead they had grew and grew and grew. And then they won pretty comfortably once the shots started falling. And I think that losing that Wisconsin game and having a couple games where they had to grit it out in the middle of the season really helped them learn that we can win any game if we play to the best of our ability. We play high energy the whole time, and we share the ball. We have fun. We trust each other. We trust our coach. We play good defense. It's going to work out in the end. The shots will start falling at some point, or we'll find a different way to win. And you can just see it when you watch the game, and you can feel it, and you just don't feel... I just feel like this team's never out of it. So it was a fantastic win. Ade Mara, I love Ade Mara. He went off. He had 24 points, and he made his first 2 3-pointers of the year. He's been working his butt off on 3-pointers, and he smoked them. They were at beautiful form, nailed them, but he was all over the place. Again, Morris Johnson, he's like a 12-12 every game, high energy guy. Yaxel had a great game. Cadeau didn't score really, but he had a bunch of assists and no turnovers, which is fantastic. Burnett played his role well. Early on when the shots weren't falling, he nailed a three that was huge. Just McKinney continues to be sixth man of the year, just tearing it up. He could start on any team, and what a weapon to bring off the bench. He had 12 points. Shot the ball very well, played good defense. This team is a lot of fun to watch, guys, and I think we're in for a special season. Michigan's off until Wednesday, then they play at Northwestern, who is a bottom feeder in the Big Ten. Should be a nice, comfortable win. Before then, they get a string of tough games. They play UCLA, who's upper middle of the Big Ten. It'll be a stiff test. And then they got to play at Purdue. They play Duke, which is going to be a really fun game. And then they play Iowa and Minnesota, and they also play Illinois and Michigan State. So no cupcake schedule down the stretch here. They should take care of business with Northwestern. And then it'll start a pretty tough stretch to end the year that they're going to get challenged, and it's going to be good to see what we got going into the tournament. So I think they're hitting their stride at the perfect time, and I just think they are unbelievable right now. So I'm very, very excited, and I hope you are too. So now let's switch gears and let's get into the rest of the 2026 signing day class, the recruits. Again, I talked about the 4 and 5 star recruits in my last video. Check it out. This one's going to be all about the 3 stars. I recorded it all at the same time, so there will be a wardrobe change as we switch gears here. But let's talk about some 3-star recruits, and then we'll talk about some recruiting news for the class of 2027 and onward after that. So here we go. 3 stars, studs or duds? First up, we have defensive end Mikhail Blade, 6'4", 245 of Illinois. As a sophomore, he had 22 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. He didn't see a lot of time as a junior. It doesn't say why. I think he had some injury stuff, but I'm not sure. But as a senior, he had 12 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. It says limited statistics available throughout his career. So I'm not really sure if it's more of just he did transfer to a different school, so maybe it's just hard to get his stats, because he was a team captain as a senior. But so I don't know. I'll have to dig in more. I want to know more about him. I love his last name, Blade, and I've seen some clips of him, and he looks really good. He looks fluid. He looks strong, quick off the snap. So yeah, I'm going to see if I can find a better breakdown of his stats. Number 10 player out of Illinois, and the number 43 defensive lineman in the country. So top 50 defensive lineman. That's not too shabby at all. So he was really good, and he was a captain, so he's a leader. He's got a lot of potential. He's actually, in some things that you look at, he's given a 4-star. But, overall he's seen as a 3-star by most of the big, recruiting sites and stuff. He'll definitely get on the field, and he's one that I'm interested in. I really want him to do well, because the fun we could have with his last name, Blade cuts through the offensive line. I mean, come on now. Next up, we've got quarterback Brady Schmiegel out of California. 6'5", 215 pounds. As a junior, he led his team to the state championship, their first one in 30 years. He also played as a freshman and sophomore, and had a 9-3 record as a freshman, 10-4 as a sophomore. He was a 4-year starter. And let's run down his stuff. So as a freshman, he completed 66% of his passes, holy Toledo, for 3,479 yards, 46 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions as a freaking freshman. This dude's a beast. As a sophomore, he completed 59% of his passes for 4,222 yards, 52 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, with 2 touchdowns rushing. 52 touchdowns as a sophomore? Was he 15 years old? That's insane. As a junior, I've seen like his overall stats, so I shouldn't be surprised, but I haven't seen the breakdown like this really. As a junior, he completed 65% of his passes for 3,521 yards and 49 touchdowns with only 3 interceptions. And he ran for 435 yards and 11 touchdowns on the ground. This is like playing Madden on easy mode. Holy Toledo. I didn't realize Smeagol had these insane numbers each year. Like, I mean, his overall numbers are wild. Just wait till you hear him. And then in his senior year, he only played 6 games, but he still threw for completed 64% of his passes, 1,624 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He ran for 5 touchdowns on 171 yards rushing. So overall, he had 13,695 all-purpose offense, 12,846 passing, and 185 touchdowns, 162 of them passing, and he only had, 11, so 11, so 25, like 36 interceptions compared to 162 passing touchdowns. That's insane. He's got some insane numbers. 37-10 as a starter, state championship. He's the number 32 quarterback in California. I mean, there's so many quarterbacks in California. I mean, ESPN rates him as a 4-star and has him the number 11 quarterback in California. They have him as the number 32 quarterback overall. ESPN says he's the number 11 quarterback overall. So, yeah, crazy. I mean, this dude has some wild numbers. So he's another one. Him and Tommy Carr, like, they are some beasts. Like, we're getting some studs coming in as freshmen. I'm excited to see. I hope they get some reps in the spring game, and then down the road. Man, I'm excited to see what they can do. They put up some gaudy numbers, both of them, and they're both very good. So it's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting to see these quarterbacks coming in with big arms who can run. It's pretty awesome stuff. Next up, we have tight end Mason Bonner, 6'7", 225 pounds, beast. He also played basketball. He played wide receiver, defensive end, and punted. That's pretty awesome. As a freshman, he played wide receiver and caught 2 passes for 21 yards. And then as a sophomore, he had 33 catches for 617 yards with 8 touchdowns. He also had 20 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and broke up 2 passes and forced a fumble. Oh yeah, his junior season, he did not play much because of injury. He missed most of his junior season with injury. But as a senior, he caught 47 passes for 767 yards and 6 touchdowns. He also had 32 tackles, 8 for loss, 8.5 for loss, 5 sacks, 4 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble. So, versatile guy. 247 has him as the number 26 tight end. ESPN has him as the number 17 tight end. But he's going to be a great piece to the tight end room. Very athletic guy. And I can't wait to see what he is able to do down the road. Next up, we have offensive lineman Adrian Hamilton, interior offensive lineman, guard or center, out of Washington, D.C. His nickname is Ace. So Ace Hamilton, 6'3", 295 pounds. His team averaged 24.5 points per game after averaging less than 20 points the year before. He's the number 3 player in Washington, D.C., and the number 55 interior offensive lineman. So he is very talented, big guy, and he has a cool nickname, Ace. Come on now. But he's going to get a chance too. Throw him in there, let him develop, and see what we got. I'm excited about him. And we have another 3-star offensive tackle, Tommy Frauman, 6'8", 265 pounds from Illinois. In 2024, the team that he played on had scored over 30 points per game and over 20 or 24 points per game in 2025. He also was a blocker on a line that produced a running back that had 2,000 all-purpose yards and 22 touchdowns. And they won 3 state championships. He was a part of 2 of them. They had a 13-game win streak going at one point. So a very good team that he was an offensive tackle for. So another great lineman to throw in there and learn under Jim Harding and see what we've got down the road. Now let's talk about some linebackers. We all know we want those linebackers. We've got Aiden Reeder, 6'2", 215 pounds, out of Ohio. He also played track and field. As a junior, he had 74 tackles, 42 of them solo, 14 and a half tackles for loss, 3 sacks, broke up 3 passes, and forced 3 fumbles. Through the first 8 games of his senior season, he had 47 tackles, 9 for loss, 6 sacks, and 2 pass breakups. He's the number 50 linebacker nationally, and he was the number 32 player overall in Ohio. But I'm excited about Aiden Reeder. He looks like a fantastic linebacker down the road. And then, of course, we have Markel Dabney, 6'1", 225 pounds, out of Virginia. He played defensive end, linebacker, defensive back, running back, and receiver. As a junior, he had 74 tackles, 4 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions, both returned for touchdowns, so 2 pick sixes. And then as a senior, he made 68 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 1 interception. But as a running back, he carried 40 times for 448 yards with 8 touchdowns, and he also caught 12 passes for 176 yards with 4 touchdowns. So overall in his career, he had 151 tackles, 25 for loss, 14 turnovers forced, and he had 2,300 all-purpose yards on offense with 33 touchdowns. I'm excited about Markel Dabney. I think he is one of the freshmen that I'm really keeping an eye on to come in and flash at times. And he's just so dynamic. He could be used in a lot of different ways. So another player I'm excited about. We had just the other day, Indy Etta signed with Michigan, the younger brother of Eno Etta, out of Texas, 6'2", 215. As a sophomore, as a true freshman, he had 69 tackles and 4 tackles for loss. As a sophomore, 46 tackles, 6.5 for loss with 1.5 sacks. And then as a junior, he had 81 tackles, 18 for loss, 9.5 sacks, and an interception, a forced fumble, and a recovery, and a defensive touchdown. And then his senior season, 68 tackles, 17 for loss, 10.5 sacks, and 4 pass breakups, and 2 forced fumbles. He played defensive line and outside linebacker. So he's one of those guys that could be a really good blitzer from the linebacker spot. Excited about him. He also played offense early on in his career, so very dynamic, athletic guy. I'm really excited about him. I think he could be something special down the road. He's going to need probably a little time to figure things out and adjust, but I think he could be a special part of the linebacker room for sure. And then the other linebacker, Caden Catchings, 6'1", 220 pounds, out of Mississippi. He played running back and linebacker. As a sophomore, he ran for 61 yards and 3 touchdowns, also had 21 tackles, and he had a kickoff return for a touchdown. As a junior, he made 47 tackles and broke up 6 passes. He also ran for 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. And in 2025, as a senior, he had 336 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns on offense, and he had 29 tackles and 2 sacks on defense. So a really athletic, fun player. That running back to linebacker switch, it's a really good dynamic. That's why I'm excited to see Taylor Tatum in that linebacker safety hybrid role. But Catchings is another fun one. They've got some fun athletic guys in the linebacker room. It's going to be cool to see a lot of them develop and what they can become down the road. Then we have running back, who I talked about in my running back position group breakdown video. But let's talk about Jonathan Brown again, in case you haven't watched that video yet. He's a 6'2", 200-pound running back out of Ohio. As a sophomore, he ran for 463 yards and 5 touchdowns. He also had 36 receiving yards and 167 kick return yards. He had 5 games over his career where he had multiple touchdowns, and 3 games where he scored 3 touchdowns. He had a career high game of 182 rushing yards in 2024. And as a junior, he had 1,295 yards and 16 touchdowns rushing, and he caught 12 passes for 69 yards. As a senior, he had 6 touchdowns, and playing running back and safety, he finished top 10 in program history in touchdowns, rushing yards, and he had over 2,000 career yards on the ground. So special running back, great to have in the running back room, somebody that is going to develop with Tony Alford and could definitely be a piece of the rotation down the road. He's got a lot of guys ahead of him, but he is a special talent, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Then we have a fun recruit who came over from Cal, got out of his signing with them and came to Michigan, and that is Ernest Nunley. I love Nunley. He is a fun player. Let me tell you about him. He is just a ball hawk safety, a lot like Chris Bracey, all over the field, just twitchy, has a lot of charisma, plays with a lot of aggression and heart. Really fun to watch. So he is one I'm excited about that I think could carve out a role very soon within his first couple years of college. He's just a fun, electric player that I think is going to grow into something special at Michigan. So keep an eye out for Nunley. Then we have receiver Jalen Pyle, 6 foot, 195 pounds, out of Texas. He also did track and field. He played defensive back, receiver, and he was a return specialist. As a sophomore, he caught 16 passes for 427 yards with 5 touchdowns. As a junior, he went off, caught 63 passes for 1,367 yards and 19 touchdowns. He also made 14 tackles and forced a fumble and had 8 pass breakups and 2 interceptions on defense. His senior year, he caught 55 passes for 1,186 yards and 15 touchdowns. He also had a 92-yard kickoff return touchdown, and he broke up 4 passes as a defensive back. So a dynamic guy. He's got some length to him. He's got some good speed. He's electric in the open field, can make guys miss. That's why he's great as a kick returner. He's a guy that I would love to see get more time, but I don't think he's going to be able to get in that, crack that rotation. I could be wrong, but it's going to take him a little time. But I think that he could be a great special teams piece, a great depth piece, and someone that maybe they throw in there on some formations. You never know. He is a talented guy, but I do think down the road he's going to get a chance and he's going to get some reps. But I would say right now Travis Johnson will have a better chance to see more playing time as a freshman than Jalen Pyle. But Pyle I like a lot, and I do think he's going to find a way to get on the field, whether it's special teams or on offense this year. And finally, if you're still hanging out with me, we've got 2 more to talk about. Our long snapper, Jack Trudelar. Dude looks ripped. I wouldn't mind seeing him get some play at another position too, but he's an excellent long snapper. His high school coaches rave about him. It was great to grab one because we didn't have one in the recruiting class. Now we've got him. We've got the stud from Marshall, and we got, of course, Nico Crawford from Pitt. So we are good to go at long snapper. And then we got the awesome freshman kicker who looks like Zac Efron from High School Musical, Jacob Baguette. And he's just someone who says his approach to kicking field goals is just to obliterate the ball, basically, to just annihilate it when he kicks it. And he's got a big leg, so he's going to be fun to watch kicking field goals down the road for Michigan. So we've got a really great kicking room between him and Bukowski. Fantastic to know we have 2 kickers who are accurate and have a big leg. I'm excited about special teams. You know, I love it. Fantastic recruiting class that, you know, Michigan had already put together before this, but the coaching staff that came in, they kept this recruiting class together and added some to it. I cannot wait to see what they are able to do with a full year under their belt and what our recruiting class is going to look like next year. But I'm really excited about all these players. And I feel like almost every 4-star and 5-star is going to make an impact in the next couple of years. And the 3-stars could grow into some really, really good players down the road. Michigan got some ballers, and I can't wait to see what they all do in their careers at Michigan. And this coaching staff is just the staff to coach them up and help them develop and reach their potential. Because you saw with some of the stats, some of these guys are athletic freaks and really put up some gaudy numbers in high school. And Utah coaches and BYU, they were used to taking 2 and 3 star guys and making them turn into 4 or 5 star talent. And it's going to be exciting to see what they can do with them. Not to mention what they'll do with 4 and 5 starting talent. So it's just, the sky's the limit. Can't wait to see what a lot of these guys do. I think they will become, at worst, solid rotational pieces, and some of them will have a chance to be stars. So I cannot wait. Fun stuff. So let's talk about some recruiting news for future recruiting classes. So we all love to hear about linebacker recruits coming in, just because of kind of how the linebacker room was left a little bare, and we got to rely on potential and guys that we haven't seen have a big role yet. So it's always exciting to hear them talking to and trying to bring in huge recruits for the linebacker room. And one is a top 100 linebacker out of Illinois, Roman Igwebuike. Alex Whittingham met with him in January. The meeting went good, and he seems very interested in setting up a visit in the spring and coming to Michigan, learning more. This dude is a beast, 6'2", 220, and he has really looked really good for a junior, especially at Mount Carmel in Illinois. So I'm looking forward to see how his recruitment goes and to see what he does his senior year. Keep an eye out for Roman Igwebuike. He's on the same team as top 100 Michigan target at wide receiver, Quentin Burrell. So keep an eye on that. Could be a package deal. We would get 2 studs together. So that's something interesting to keep an eye on. Some other linebackers that Alex Whittingham is recruiting and keeping an eye on. He offered a Tennessee linebacker, Parker Newman. Dude is 6'6", 210, 6'6" linebacker. He also plays tight end, but Alex Whittingham sees him as a linebacker, and I think that would be amazing. Can you imagine trying to throw the ball over a 6'6" linebacker who can cover receivers and running backs in the flats, or comes up to the line and just puts his big old mitts up? I'm pretty excited about that. That sounds awesome. And also another linebacker recruit, Jeremiah Culpepper, who is a rising linebacker. He's gotten some offers from Alabama and Texas, so he's highly sought after. He's another one that's Alex Whittingham is working on. So some awesome stuff going on with linebackers. Alex Whittingham's killing it on the recruiting trail. He's going to bring us in some studs, I have no doubt. Now it's time to talk about the results to yesterday's question of the day. I ask a question of the day every day to you Michigan fans. So if you haven't voted on today, head on over to the community tab and vote on the question of the day after you finish this video. Yesterday, I asked, with J.J. Buchanan really playing more of a wide receiver role, who do you think will be Michigan's most productive tight end out of the group of pure tight ends that will play that position? Results are in, and here they are. And as you can see, by a wide margin, Zach Marshall was the winner, with Hogan Hansen in second place. I would agree with this breakdown. I think Hogan Hansen has all the potential in the world and the talent, and he really could be huge, but he has not been able to stay healthy and avoid injuries and stay on the field. If he can do so, he could definitely challenge for that top spot. I think Tonelli's a great blocker. I think he also has a lot of talent. He had the dropsies at times last year, but he could make a step. But I think right now, Zach Marshall has been healthy. He's got a lot of talent, so I would think that he would be the top heir to the tight end fame that we always have at Michigan. So, but we'll see. It's a talented room. They also have some young guys coming in, like Bonner, who we talked about in the 3-star portion of this video. I really like him a lot. 6'7". I mean, come on. And then, of course, we have a couple of guys that are fullbacks like Jalen Hoffman, Eli Owens, that can also play tight end. They're more blockers, runners style. But they also could be in there. Who knows? That maybe they haven't had a chance to try to be a tight end because they've been more of a fullback. So there's a lot of talent in that room. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I would agree, Zach Marshall seems to be the leading candidate just because he's been able to stay healthy and he has a lot of talent. But I would love to see Hogan Hansen have a full year and be healthy and see what he could do. But time will tell. That's going to do it for this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Thanks again for hanging out with me. As always, you guys are the best. If you had a lot of fun, consider subscribing. I would appreciate it. And that way you won't miss any videos, shorts, or question of the days that get posted, or lives like I did after the Michigan-Ohio State basketball game. But that's going to do it. Have a fantastic day. I will see you in the next video. And until I do, as always, go blue.